Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be taking apart this Hyperikon, I don't know, however you say that, LED fluorescent tube replacement. If you do end up buying these, something that you should be aware of is that you, in order to install it, you have to bypass the ballast, so you just connect one side of the fixture to your hot and the other side to your neutral, or if you were using two-phase, you'd connect the other way. They are rated, input voltage 100 volts, 277 volts. This one's 4,000 Kelvin, 14 watt. It's actually a 3-foot bulb. Most common fixtures are 4-foot bulbs, but that's why this one's getting taken apart, because we bought a box of 4. It's cheaper. It's like one of those things where you could either buy 2 or buy 4, and it was the same price, so we bought 4. Yeah, I was going to take it apart, see how the build quality was. It's got this nice aluminum heatsink on the back, which I thought was really cool. It feels kind of flimsy in your hand, but you're not going to be touching it every day, so as long as it stays together, it should be good. They come with a 5-year warranty. It's frosted, so you can't actually see the LEDs inside. And one thing that I did happen to notice that I really hadn't paid attention to before, but could really hurt you, is it only directs light at a 180-degree angle. So, like in our pantry, part of the light fixture was against the wall, and when I put it in, because it was like one of the ones with the locking tombstones, it was like pointed at the ceiling, and so the lighting wasn't very direct, and that kind of wasn't the best scenario, but I mean, it works. But if you're going to be like installing these in a sign or something where you need light emitting from 180 or 360 degrees of the tube, this wouldn't work for you. I don't even know if they make them, because you need the heat sink on the back. But that is something to be aware of. Most office applications and whatnot, you're going to be able to get away with it, but for other such scenarios, you can have a oh crap moment. So yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll take these screws on the end off and see what it looks like inside. Okay, so I got the end of the tubes off, and this is kind of weird. They I don't know if this came like pre-crimped or something, but they just kind of soldered these together and put some heat shrink on them. I mean, you'd really rather see this be one wire, but I guess that's what they had available to them, and it's pretty cool because I guess they have their own aluminum extrusion. That's what this is. It's just an extrusion, like you could get at Home Depot or something, like an angle iron. You can't get this at Home Depot because this is a special form, but like when you purchase an angle iron or something, that's what it is. It's an extrusion, and you can see they use some rather coarse screws, and they just put them in there to hold this end on. That's what that looks like. And same thing for the other end, except on here, on the other end, we had a brown wire. On here, we have a blue wire, but we got the same junk going on with this heat shrink and a solder joint. And looks like we got the positive and negative in there. We'll take it apart, have a look at the driver, and see if they're wired in series or not. How many volts is probably going through it. Alright, so this is pretty cool. I went ahead and counted them all already for you. And they are wired in sets of... Alright, there's 3 series LEDs of 25. Alright, so we got 25 LEDs in a series, and then it breaks off, and then we got another 25 LEDs in a series, and then it breaks off, and we got another 25 LEDs in a series. And it's kind of cool because it's they come in different lengths of feet. So this is a 3-foot bulb, so it makes sense that they would have 3 sections, and then the 4-foot bulb would probably have 4 sections, and so they can keep their voltage the same, and just their voltage coming out of their driver, and just change the numbers of sets of LEDs they have. So that would mean that there were, what, 3 times 5, 7, 3 times 25, 75 different chips on this board. And I've not checked yet to see if we have any thermal compound on the back side of this. That would really make things better. And this thing just kind of snapped off. It's kind of flimsy. I'm interested to see if it will like deteriorate over time. Did this thing say it put out like no UV or something? I don't know. So that'll be interesting. So I'm gonna have to desolder this to get the board out, the driver. So I took the shrink wrap off, and the solder joint looks pretty good. They didn't strip too much off, so that looks good. So here's the driver. They clearly tried to stick it in there with some tape or something. Here's the brown wire that went to one end, and here's the red and blue wire, and these two are the leads out to the board. And so if I had a tripod, I could actually take this apart while I was talking and videoing it, but I don't, and yeah, not super easy, so I might just have to put this down and take it apart and then open it back up. Alright, so basically what we got here, this is our PCB board, our driver for the LED tube, and we got the AC voltage coming in. The interesting thing about these fuses I actually learned is that when you see them white like that, and they're not glass so you can see the filament, what that means is that they should be filled with sand. And so if you have to break a really high current, it won't explode. With the glass filled ones, if you shove like an excessive amount of current through it, like, you know, say it's rated for 1 amp, okay, if you push 1,000 amps through a 1 amp fuse and it doesn't have the sand in it, it will explode. So if you try and push 1,000 amps through a 1 amp glass fuse, it will explode. And I learned this from Big Clive, bigclive.com. He's got a YouTube channel. But so this is clearly you know, a fuse designed to break high currents, which is good because it is going to be connected to mains. And then so this is all just smoothing stuff. We got a capacitor. It's got a special number on it. What does that say? What does it say? This is output 60 volts? I don't know. I need a better printer. Alright, but that comes out and then it goes through our bridge rectifier here. And it goes into this transistor or MOSFET, and it goes through this capacitor into the high frequency transformer, and then it goes through this big electrolytic cap rated for 100 volts, and then out to our leads to drive the board. And so if we plug it in, we'll be able to find out what kind of voltage is driving our board, and then what the potential across each chip is. Okay, so don't do this if you're afraid or you don't know what you're doing. But I basically chopped off the input side of this board, and I got it. I used wire nuts, attached it to this this cord, and we are going to go ahead and plug it in. And we didn't blow the breaker yet. And we got a red light, so it's got power right now, and I will test the output voltage with my multimeter. So we go to 200, shouldn't be any more than 200 volts. Alrighty, and what's the best way to do this? I guess the best way is probably, I wonder if I can, not gonna work. Let's see. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to tell you what it is. Maybe. I wonder if here we go. There we go. Set it on top of the cup. Yep. Perfect. Perfecto. Alrighty. So I get the black on the black and the red on the red. Ooh. Alright, so it's fluctuating. I wonder if that's just because it doesn't have a load on it right now. But 90 volts is pretty high. So that would mean that if we have 90 volts, you're going in 25 LEDs, 25, if we round it up to 100, that would mean that we got about 4 volts to each chip. Which I guess is alright. But still, that's a pretty high voltage. It's kind of weird that it fluctuated that much too, but I don't know, we'll see. I'm pretty impressed with the quality of the PCB that they used here. I mean, it doesn't look like super cheap. I mean, it looks like they put some time into it, so that's good. I'll go ahead and unplug it. No sense in shocking yourself if you don't have to. And I assume that's what that resistor is there for. That one right there, it says 104 on it. That's probably a bleed out resistor. Does it say BR, RB? I don't know. But basically what that'll do is it'll discharge that capacitor, so if it's been unplugged for a while or turned off and you go ahead and you touch it, it won't shock you. Okay, so here's the board. I figured out how to get it out. Actually, it was crimped right there, and I just peeled it up, and I inadvertently smashed one of the chips when I was taking it off. I had initially intended to continue to use this, or to, I don't know, find some purpose for it, put it back together, but it looks like that's no longer going to happen. And so as we slide it out, we realize that there's no thermal compound on here. And that would have really made it a lot nicer for heat transfer. But it appears as though they did not go to that effort. And it was just crimped right there in the center. That was the only thing that was holding it in there. But I do like the aluminum extrusion. That to me was pretty ingenious, whoever thought of doing that. Pretty cool idea. But on the opposite side of the board, yeah, not much to look at. If you can see it, just a strip of LEDs. Wish this camera would focus. But yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know if there's anything that you would like to see taken. Oh gosh, come on, focus. Yeah, there we go. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see taken apart, or if you have any comments or suggestions. Thanks. Bye. So I thought I'd go ahead and plug it in while I was at it. As you can see, the spot where why does it look so blurry? Where I broke the, oh, it's like staring into the sun. Where's the chip that I broke? Right there. Doesn't light up. So now you know if 2/3 of your lamp lights up, you know you probably have a bad chip, bad LED chip. So that would be interesting. And I'll go ahead and I'll test the voltage on this again to see what kind of voltage it's putting out under load. Alright, so if you were concerned about flicker, good news is when it's under load, it puts out a constant 72 volts. So what's 72? If it was 75, it'd be 3 volts. So it's just under 3 volts a chip. But I mean, we bought them, and I think they're pretty good. These are the bulbs I'll be installing later, so I don't know, I can't complain about it. They're definitely brighter than the fluorescent tubes, and they don't put out as much heat, so it'll keep your place cooler. But yeah, thanks for watching.